Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Political Science YT. Today we will be starting with Unit 2. So first topic of Unit 2 is non-alignment, meaning and relevance. And yes, those who have not watched the previous videos, I will paste the link of that videos in the description box so you can watch that videos of Unit 1. So let's start with Unit 2, non-alignment, meaning and relevance. So, non alignment is basically a term which is coined by V.K. Menon in 1953, and it basically means a policy when the states they did not align with any power blocks like USA and USSR during the period of Cold War. They wanted an independent stance and they do not want to be the camp followers of either of the blocks, that is USA and USSR. So this is basically non-alignment, and it is also considered to be the hallmarks in India's foreign policy. So, resurgence period of NAM. So the newly developed countries of Asia, Africa, and Latin America, they want the freedom from the clutches of colonialism. So what they did was that instead of falling under the umbrella of the two blocks, they decided not to be the camp followers of either of the blocks by adopting the policy of non-alignment. Members of NAM: Jawaharlal Nehru, India; Joseph Broz Tito, Yugoslavia; Sukarno, Indonesia; Gamal Abdel Nasser, Egypt; Nkrumah, Ghana. This question is important for short answers as well. इंट्रोडक्शन के बाद तो आप लिखोगे ये मेंबर्स कौन थे, लेकिन दिस इज़ ऑल्सो इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर शॉर्ट आंसर्स एज वेल. Then come at present, there are 120 member states, 17 observer countries, and 10 observer organizations. Then these are some definitions of NAM by different thinkers, which you can always mention in your exam. It will make your answer more authentic, and will put a good impression on the examiner. So you can quote these definitions in your answers. Then comes non-alignment summit. Instead of writing all the summits, you can mention these four main. First one was that in Belgrade, Yugoslavia, 1961. Second was in Cairo, Egypt, 1964. 18th summit was in Baku, Azerbaijan, in 2019. It was basically a virtual summit. 19th summit was bound to be, start in 2023, but it is postponed to 2024. Then aims and objectives of NAM. Some of the basic principles, objectives, or aims on which the NAM policy is based are that while there is any international conflict, there should be a peaceful settlement of the disputes. The countries should respect the sovereignty, equality, and territorial integrity of all the other states. To oppose the colonialism, imperialism, and racialism. To strive for world peace, non-interference in the internal affairs of the state, to stay away from power blocks and their power politics, to strive for new international economic order. Then comes the features of NAM. First one is peaceful coexistence. The newly independent countries of Asia and Africa, they were peacefully coexisting among themselves and were following the principle of peace and cooperation. To stay away from power blocks or power politics, NAM's basic meaning is not to be the camp followers of either of the blocks, so they stayed away from power politics and power blocks. Opposition to Cold War, as they were not the part of either of the blocks, so they were in direct opposition to the Cold War, because Cold War actually meant the acute tension between USA and USSR and the prevalence of these two superpowers. But the NAM countries, they were in opposition of the Cold War. Fourth point is opposition to the military alliances, as NAM countries were not the followers of either of the blocks, so they were in direct opposition to the military alliances as well. As NAM is considered as an hallmarks of India's foreign policy, so it supports an independent foreign policy for the countries. It is a policy of peace, as the nations they are peacefully coexisting among themselves, and they are striving to achieve peace and cooperation among themselves. Policy of full participation. At present, there are 120 member states, 17 observer organizations, and 10 observers observer members. So they participate fully in the NAM summits, NAM's discussions and dialogues. Faith in regional cooperation, as we know that NAM is a policy of staying out of the military alliances. So it promotes the regional cooperation among the countries following NAM. It does not mean powerlessness. Then comes the relevance of NAM. First one is establishment of an equitable international system. As we know that NAM is based on several principles like peace, cooperation, respect for territorial integrity for each other's nation. So while following these principles, it establish an equitable international system. It strengthens the multipolar world order by changing the international power dynamics. As earlier during the Cold War, there was a bipolarity international power structure, but due to NAM, it gave rise to multipolar world order. Solution to economic problems. There are many economic problems which are faced by the nations, like that of poverty, unemployment, underdevelopment. So these all problems are tackled by NAM. Then comes peaceful settlement of disputes, as NAM is based on the principle of peace and it strive for peace. So it believes in peaceful settlement of the disputes among the nations. North-South dialogue. North countries are basically the developed countries and the South countries are the developing countries. So there is a wide gap between the North and the South countries, and in order to bridge this gap, NAM acts as a platform to ensure that the problems of South countries are addressed. South-South dialogue. NAM acts as a platform for South-South dialogue for the South-South dialogue, as in countries, a group of 77 countries has been formed by NAM to work for the cooperation within the southern countries and to address the problem like poverty, unemployment, and also the recovery from the diseases like COVID-19. Then comes NAM's role in environmental issues. So there have been conflict between North and South regarding the environment issues. The Western countries, they are constantly blaming the South for the depletion of the environment. But the biggest violator of climate protection laws is the North itself. So NAM countries put pressure on the North, and it brings solution to the various environmental problems and brings solution to the climate issues. Then comes the democratization of UN. NAM has raised the issue of expansion of United Nations Security Councils and the participation of the third world countries in the UN. So it had led to democratization of UN. World peace, as its main aim or objective, is to strive for world peace. So it plays an active role in preserving the world peace by standing by its founding principles and ideas to establish peaceful and prosperous world. Then second next is cultural diversity and human rights. As there are many human rights violations, so NAM acts as a platform to resolve these issues through its principles of territorial integrity and respecting each other's and peaceful settlement of disputes. It contributes towards economic growth by leading to a sustainable economic growth, like giving favorable demography, demand and favorable location to the countries. Territorial integrity and sovereignty. It stands by this principle, and it says that this principle is necessary for preserving the independence of every nation. It opposes colonialism, as NAM basically stands for the countries who are decolonized. So it gave freedom to the countries from the clutches of colonialism. So it opposes colonialism. It is in the interest of the developing countries. NAM address the southern countries' problem and also acts as a platform to fully address the problems of the developing countries, that is the southern countries. End of apartheid. NAM has also played a significant role in apartheid in South Africa. As we know that apartheid basically means racial discrimination on the basis of color. So NAM has played a very important role in it by putting diplomatic pressure, sanction, and acting as a mediator and as a dialogue partner. Then advocacy for equity. NAM advocates for a more equitable global governance by establishing an equitable international system. It promotes universal brotherhood by emphasizing on the by emphasizing on the principle of sovereignty of the nations and cultural exchange. Global health. It addresses the global health challenges beyond pandemics like combating diseases like HIV and AIDS, and promoting research and development in the health sciences. Then finally comes the criticism of NAM. First one is ineffectiveness. It is ineffective in the present world because it lacks a concrete action. Second is lack of unity. Different groups of nations, they have different ideologies, so there is no unity among the countries following NAM. Irrelevance due to new rise of new power dynamics and various groups and organizations. Uh, NAM has lost its relevance in the present world. It has failed to address the human rights issues also. Selective neutrality. It is often accused of remaining neutral in certain stances, like when India leaned towards USSR by signing a treaty in 1971. So it has NAM countries, they have a selective neutrality in certain spheres. So one such example could be that of 1971 treaty with USSR. Dependency on foreign aid. It has been dependent on various countries for the foreign aid like Bangladesh, Nepal, and Sri Lanka. Ineffective resource allocation. NAM countries, they have not distributed resources equally among the countries. Failure to address the regional conflicts. Lack of adaptation. It has not been able to adapt to the present day, challenges and problems. Inadequate response to environment issues. It has not been able to tackle the environmental issues. So that's it for this video. If you like this video, do press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more such content. Thank you so much.